Here with Jason Cooper as they are getting ready for the conference tournament coming up this weekend against SAGU, correct?
Yes.
And they ended up the season 21-7, 16-16 in conference, another good confident season there with the wins, and 13-1 at home. So at home is a good place to be, so
Right.
I'm glad that we're hosting in the conference tournament to start it off. How would you say you feel about the team's performance thus far headed into the conference tournament with the 3 seed?
This year's team's been, there's been a lot of challenges. Losing Caitlin at the very beginning of the year, who's going to be our returning senior, and there was just a lot of questions that needed to be answered. And as we get going and we start learning some lessons and figuring some things out, there's some hard lessons that you have to learn. Especially in the Sooner Athletic Conference and being so tough to go 16-7. It's not easy to do. There's so many good teams. With our growth and the maturity that we're gaining, the experience that we're gaining, I feel really good about it. Like you said, we're 13-1 at home. That one game we lost was to the team that went undefeated in conference, and we lost to them by 2 and had a chance. So we are pretty comfortable in our gym, and the Sooner Athletic Conference. The top 8 teams that make the conference tournament are all really good teams, so it's never a guarantee. Even John Brown's playing Texas Wesleyan, John Brown's got to get ready because Wesleyan's a solid team, even though they're the 8th seed. So coming in with SAGU and, wanting to get a little revenge from them beating us the last game Saturday. I'm hoping our girls are fired up and, have a little chip on their shoulder, ready to prove themselves.
Speaking of that matchup against SAGU, I know you were saying that you wish they had a chip on their shoulder. Would you rather, in a situation like that, would you like for them to hold on to that, or would you rather them wipe the slate clean and sort of come into the game just empty-minded?
Well, yeah, that's a tough call. I think that you were an athlete, and when you feel like you got something to prove, sometimes that gives you a little edge, So I think, our girls coming in, we felt good about beating them the first time we played them, and then I think we might have let our guard down a little bit. Hopefully it was a wake-up call. So I think, keep it in the back of your mind. When you're out there playing, you dive for that ball, go a little bit harder, play a little bit tougher defense. So I think that our girls will be locked in and focused.
I hear you, Coach. And so I know you said earlier you guys had a time where you guys had to make that adjustment to really understand what the team is, where they need to be headed, what direction they need to go in, and who needs to do what. And so what goes into that, preparing your team over the course of the year to be able to compete at the best of their abilities, and maybe having to make that adjustment to their play style, or having to change this person and have this person coming off the bench, or what goes into all of that?
Yeah, there's a lot of training and stuff that goes on through the year to be able to run your defense, run your offense the way you want it. And I think all the good teams are pretty good at those things. We want to force people to play our game, and at this point in the year, you've got to be good at your game. Yeah. And the most important thing is that you outwork your opponent. Yeah. And that's what. For me, I'll look at that game on last Saturday, and I'm going to find, 2 or 3 girls that really went above and beyond and gave an exceptional amount of effort, and they're going to be on the court for sure Thursday. Yeah. It just makes a difference. How bad do you want it? How hard are you willing to work for it?
I hear that, Coach. And I'm glad that you said it. It leads me into my next question. What do you think sort of dictates success first? Somebody that has a lot of talent, or somebody that gives a lot of effort?
I think effort beats talent.
Definitely.
The old saying, now I can't think of it. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Mm-hmm. And I think that we've got some girls that have it deep down in them. They if they get out there. I've said this all year. This group of girls, we've got 10 girls on the roster, 6 are freshmen and sophomores, and I think that we can beat anybody.
Really? That's a really young team.
Yeah, it's really young. We got everybody back, Yeah. We can beat anybody in the country. Mm-hmm. We can also look up and get beat by anybody. Yeah. And that's, at this point in the year, there's no more bad teams. Yeah. Everybody's good, everybody's fighting for it, and, it's, in a lot of ways, win or go home. SAGU, they need to win. They need to win the conference tournament to get to the national tournament. So they're going to come in here determined, and we got to be ready.
That's right. And speaking of that, I know that you guys are having a really good record. I'm pretty sure that puts you guys at the opportunity to get that at-large bid if we don't win conference. I know the end goal is to win conference, but if we don't, I'm assuming we'll still be good for the at-large. What is the preparation like for you guys throughout the week, going into the postseason, knowing that you guys are still in a good position if you don't come out on top, and also just knowing that you want to take it all anyway?
Yeah, you know, and that's the deal. Like, that's the balance, and especially with a young team, you know, they got to understand, you know, winning the conference tournament, you know, guarantees us the opportunity to be in, you know, and if you look up and you're a bubble team, which, you know, a loss on Thursday, you know, it pushes us down a little bit. If you're a bubble team and there's a bunch of upsets throughout the country in their conference tournaments, you could be, you know, find yourself on the outside looking in. But the main thing that I want the girls to understand is, like, win the conference tournament, and instead of being a 9 seed, you're a 6 seed, or, you know, you're a 4 seed. You know, that really helps. You know, your seeding and who you have to play against first. You don't want to be a 16 and go out and play the #1 team in the country right away, you know. So hopefully our girls are learning those things. You know, a lot of these girls, you know, even the sophomores, you know, they weren't in the fire last year. You know, that's the first time that a lot of these kids have been in the fire like this, and you got to learn a lot of lessons in a hurry.
Yeah,
so.
I hear that, Coach. And I know you were talking about the style of play being a little bit different. What would you say is your style of play for the team this year?
Well, it seems like go really fast, and if we don't make it, Meg's going to get the rebound and put it back in. So,
yeah,
we want to go fast. You know, we're trying to score in the first, you know, 6 to 10 seconds. We want to get a good shot off. You know, and that's something we didn't do Saturday. You know, we want to be on the attack. Fast pace is better. It creates a lot of opportunities on offense where the other team's not set up. You know, especially with somebody as dominant as Meg's been. You know, they're double teaming her and things like that. In transition, she's finding herself alone a little bit. You know, and we ought to be able to get some better shots and stuff in transition than setting up and trying to run a play.
I hear you. And the last thing I got for you, what's something that you think will be the determining factor of you guys' success going into the conference tournament?
We need Linda and Emily as our juniors that are playing big minutes to play at a different level. Their mind has to be locked in at a different level so that they can lead these younger players, you know, across the finish line here. I think that's the biggest thing we got to have, is we got to have our older players step up and lead and dive for the ball, and, you know, do all those extra little things that, you know, some of these younger and experienced players don't know that they have to do that. You know, they haven't experienced it yet. So I think that's huge for us Thursday.
All right, Coach. Well, that's all we got for you today, man, and I wish you guys all the best luck in this upcoming tournament.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right.